You might have noticed that all the most famous meme images of Luigi Mangione were taken by the security apparatus that caught him. Whether it's that security camera footage they released to the public when he was still unidentified, the mugshots, or the recent perp walk with the New York City mayor, all of these images were created with a certain set of intentions by the police, by the FBI, by whoever it was. And the memes are all about purposefully interpreting these images in a way contrary to the spirit they were made in, and making a political point out of proudly, ironically, steadfastly refusing to read the message that authority wants to send. And we see this so often in memes and internet culture in general, where the thing that's going on isn't we're looking at something together, it's that we're looking at somebody else's looking together and deciding what we think about it. In modern digital visual culture, images are not primarily pictures of things, but rather evidence and records of the way other people see things. And so alongside the very real discourses about the healthcare industry in America and how horribly rotten it is, and about Luigi Mangione, the man himself, and what he did to Brian Thompson, what we're seeing is a lot of meta discourse about the way other people want you to look at it. So like even the perp walk, what people are talking about is like, why did Eric Adams do this, spend all this taxpayer money, present it in this way? And then there's the stuff about Luigi's low taper fade and threaded eyebrows, which creators on this app are saying is a sign from like the other prisoners that they're taking care of him, that they're gonna protect him, and that correctional officers should know they can't mess with Luigi. And maybe most significantly, there's this debate over the mainstream media coverage of it, which wants to demonize Luigi versus the social alt media sort of coverage, which maybe wants to turn him into a martyr, and this clash and tug of war between kind of new media and old media. Now, the weird part is that you can never exactly know what's going on inside of somebody's head when they choose to interpret an image or frame an image in a certain way, especially if that person is Eric Adams, who is certifiably bonkers. But it also holds true when that person is an institution like NBC News, or when that person is a TikTok creator, or when that person is the prisoners who gave Luigi a low taper fade, apparently. We're all just sort of conjecturing about what these people meant to do, and in that process, we're sort of painting little portraits of them alongside the portrait of Luigi that is the meme. And so the meme becomes a vehicle for spreading that portrait, for enriching it, for making it deeper and fuller. And whether that portrait is accurate or inaccurate, and I think in this case, the portrait that the Luigi meme has painted of, the New York Police Department kind of matches the lived experience that a lot of people have with it. The meme isn't a thing you look at as much as it's sort of a thing you congregate around and watch other people's responses to. And so in that case, we might understand memes less as like the way we understand paintings or texts in front of us, where it's like, here's a thing that some creator created with an intention and the audience is passively picking it up or sort of individually interpreting it. Instead, the meme is a catalyst, and the stuff that has meaning, that has relevance, are the social exchanges that happen around the meme and happen through the meme. And so we might interpret a meme then more as like an architectural element, like a staircase or a doorway or even like a stove, rather than as a picture hanging on the wall. Because a meme is something that people in online space use to do things. It's something they walk by. It's something they have an opinion about, that you can look at, a doorway, but the main thing you're going to do is walk through it, and it's going to connect two different spaces to one another. And so reading memes that way means seeing them not as like fixed with a certain authorial intention or something like that, but instead seeing them as sort of these dynamic, communally shared things that people are always building their lives around and building their routines and habits through. And the best communicators today are the ones who can create some kind of meme or some kind of event in the popular consciousness that is both very open and relatable to people so that they can assign their own meanings, their own spins, their own interpretations on it, but that also is very clear in terms of what that original person intended. Unambiguously clear to the point where the way you see the image, you aren't able to see it without seeing that person's, kind of point of view. And that's exactly what Luigi did. He disrupted the narrative that was being told about the health insurance industry, told about policing, told about the country and the world in general, and made it sort of flow in a different way. And we see people doing this all the time. It's not an uncommon thing that somebody, in the media or somebody in politics is able to reshape kind of the room and the space in which conversation takes place. That's what I mean by saying like a meme or something can be like a physical intervention rather than as like a sort of semiotic one. It's not a text, it's an action, it's a thing in the world that people are adjusting to accommodate. Some of what makes this happen is social media itself with the algorithms, but also with the interface. So like a lot of green screen videos are about, taking an image and reframing it literally on somebody's screen with your own face. And then your own image on the screen is reframed by TikTok with, the interaction counter and the comments section. And so we're getting a lot of our news and having a lot of discussion on screens that, you could pull up the comment section and see what other people think about my thoughts on the people behind me. And that's sort of a unique way of structuring discourse that you don't see on television, that you don't see in books. Knowing that the digital image doesn't end at the edges of its frame or at the edges of the screen you're seeing it on is an essential piece of media literacy that people need to understand the world today. And it's something that we don't see being taught enough or being modeled enough by both the mainstream media and by people creating content online. And I think in order to sustain or kind of build any sort of movement for reform or change that starts on a social media platform, there needs to be that baseline of understanding that it's not just posting, it's not just expressing an opinion, it's about building something in the space where people spend the majority of their time that will give them the tools and give them the opportunity to seek an ending that is happier and more just. And that's really like what it's all about. That's what posting is for.